Good morning, everybody. This is Terry with Gateway to Counseling, and welcome to the Ask Terry show. I wanted to do something a little different today, guys, because today is 9/11, exactly. And so, we come to you on this show because we want to bring peace, joy, love, and light into the lives of millions. And of course, we offer affordable online counseling. So, I wanted to do something just a little different in talking about 9/11, talking about fear. I'm sorry, I have text messages coming through all over the place this morning. It's been a busy morning already. So, um, I don't know if you were around when 9/11 occurred. Probably most of you were. And most of us remember where we were when it happened, right? And I was busy. I was busy working. And I was seeing clients and I was going in and out of schools and not listening to the radio. And it took me going to one school and seeing it on the news of what was going on, right? And most of us can remember not only where we were, but how we felt. And it struck a lot of fear in a lot of people. And, I know that today we honor all the folks, fallen soldiers and, people that were hurt and lost their lives. And, we recognize what occurred right here in the United States, right? And it's a major thing. But I think that sometimes it creates also this memory of fear because so many people had a lot of fear about that. And people even now have a lot of fear. And what is fear? False evidence appearing real, right? And this was not false at all. this was really real. And I know people who, because of this, they don't go certain places. They don't some people don't even want to fly. They rather just stay close to home. Some people are packing guns because they feel like they are protecting themselves, right? And I guess I want to talk about fear and anxiety because I see it ruling so many people, and I see it being a huge issue for a large amount of our population. Let's just think for a moment about the big issue going on right now, which is mass shootings and gun control. Gun control is all over the media right now. And I would tell you, I have a lot of friends that have concealed handgun license and they pack, right? And especially if you're into real estate. In real estate, you never know what you're going to encounter. And so a lot of realtors, males and females, they carry. And I don't know how much I agree with that. For a long time, I didn't own a gun. Why? Because I felt like I was going to use it. So, I think that when you're carrying a handgun like that, of course you learn safety. Of course you learn etiquette and manners and things of that sort. And my friends who carry, we can be at a restaurant and they get on the topic and before you know it, they're raising up their shirts going, oh yeah, I got mine, And I wonder sometimes what would happen if we were in a restaurant and something was to occur and I'm with my friends and they're packing, who's going to do what and who's going to act irrational and who's going to be rational, right? I might be happy that they have a gun because they might take out someone that needs to be taken out. What I'm saying is that they're packing, guys, because there's a little bit of fear. Now, they would not admit that. But they want to make sure that they're safe, that their family members are safe. They have a fear of being out in public here in Texas and never knowing what might occur. And they want to be prepared for that. I understand that 100%. But I think some people go overboard with the fear, right? And they are engaging in other isolating behaviors because of their fear. The fear to even go outside sometimes, to go into certain areas. I was at a Texans game. No, I wasn't at a Texans game. Was I? Yes, I was at a Texans game doing preseason, and was very surprised to see a number of police officers and SWAT team members. They were at least 8 cars deep, and they raised up their SUVs, and I saw all the weapons, and I saw the reloads, and of course they wouldn't tell us what was going on. But it was something going on, right? And I don't think they were scared, and they did not want fear to come across to us. So that's why they didn't say anything to us about it. Not the entire game, but they were prepared, and that's what they're trained to do, right? So I have a lot of trust in that. But I just believe that we operate in fear not only because of events that have happened nationally, but because of events that have occurred in our lives. I've worked with clients they've been sexually abused, and now they're scared to go into the bathroom, or maybe they rush to take a shower, or they don't like to be alone in the dark, or they get scared every time they pass a red SUV. Those kind of things can happen. We have people who, if you yell at them, they immediately do like this because in the past they were hit when a person started yelling. It can be a woman who was, experienced domestic violence, and her husband would start yelling and screaming at her, and then he would raise his hand and start to beat on her. There is real fear in that. So the question is, how do we overcome fear? Well, with the 9/11, we hopefully feel secure in our nation and in our response to how we handled the situation, that we live in a society that's pretty calm, right? Now, I say that, but I know that we have individuals who live in war zones. Chicago. I have a very good friend who grew up in Chicago, and she goes back home frequently, and it's a war zone in certain parts of Chicago, and she's lost an aunt who was just walking down the street and got caught in the crossfires. She has a cousin right now who is paralyzed because he was shot, I think 6, 7, 8 times. So there are war zones. If you are living in a war zone, you have every right to be scared. I would be scared, and I would be thinking about how I can change my environment so that I'm no longer in a war zone. Because guess what? If I'm having to walk to school every day, or I'm having to get into my car and drive and stop at a red light every single day, then I am going to be scared, right? I'm going to have some fear when I get in that car and I get to that red light, knowing that my relative just died at the same place. That is normal. So what can you do? Well, it's hard to control the internal emotions about that because the fear is real. If I see a lion sitting in front of me, I am going to be scared, right? That's natural, and I'm supposed to be scared. I'm not supposed to be superhuman, okay? So what can I do if I live in a war zone and it's like that? Well, what I need to do is maybe see if I can relocate. Can I improve my circumstances so that I can move to a better place? Do you see what I'm saying? So I want you guys to know that there are real fears and that there still are solutions. There's still some things that you can do. It might require that you work 2 and 3 jobs to get to the better place. It might require that. It might require that you take night classes so that you can have an education, so that you can get a higher paying job, so that you can get out of that war zone. Don't just think that you have to deal with that fear. That's what I'm saying to you. And then there are other fears that come from our past. Okay? Maybe you are living in the past of what you've encountered. Yes, your spouse was physically abusing you. He was hitting you. Hopefully you have gotten to a safe place. Hopefully you have gotten to maybe even a divorce and you're not with him anymore. And if you have, then you need to get to a place where in your mind you know that you are safe now, that you're making some good choices about who you allow into your life. You might not have seen this abuse coming. Maybe he was the best husband in the world until he got addicted to prescription drugs. And so, what are the warning signs? Write down what are the red flags so that you have better choices, or you are able to make better decisions about the people that you are around. If you are a child and you have no control over your environment, then talk to your parents if possible about what they can do for you to help you with the fear. Guys, every circumstance is going to be different, and I'm sorry that I can't just give a blanket answer to everybody, because for that child who is being sexually abused and is scared of all men now, yeah, they have to be scared. They have to protect themselves, right? And that's how they're learning to protect themselves. And so that is a process that requires therapy. It just does, because we have to learn what those red flags are. We have to learn how to set boundaries. We have to learn how to go to the adults and say, hey, this person is making me feel uncomfortable. They haven't done anything to me, but they're saying certain words, and they are and they're looking at me a certain way, and I don't like the way they hug me. Okay? Because those are all grooming behaviors. No, they haven't done anything yet, but it's grooming behaviors. And so this child will automatically pick up on that, and they know to be scared of that person, right? And they know they can't control Uncle Johnny coming over to the house on Sundays, because he always comes to the house on Sundays, and he brings the best cakes, and everybody loves Uncle Johnny, right? Except that Uncle Johnny makes you feel uncomfortable. And mom hadn't told you, but mom was sexually abused by Uncle Johnny too. And she acts a little different too. But she knows now that she's an adult and she can control the environment. But a child can't. Okay? So there are fears that we should absolutely have. But I don't want the fears in your life to cripple you, to cause you to be isolated. Does that make sense? I don't want it to affect you to the point that you're not living a good, productive life. I want you to have peace. And if it requires you to come in for counseling, guys, you don't have to stay with us forever, right? We don't have subscriptions. We don't automatically bill your credit cards or anything like that. Just go to our website, www.gateway2counseling. You can book your own session, or you can call one of us. We have two numbers, 409-449-5486. That's our office manager. And if you just need to call me to schedule, I'm usually running around, but I will call you back. My number is 713-899-0614. Thank you, guys, and I will see you next week on Monday at 8:15, where we come to you live here on our page, and then we rebroadcast in our group. Thank you. Bye-bye.